Hello?
Why haven't you checked the children?
Pain has a face. Allow me to show it to you. Gentlemen, I am pain.
Here's Johnny!
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes.
You are one of us, Michael!
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
I'm coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome to the first episode of Slice and Dice Dreadcast. This is our first episode. This is Joe Giuseppe Infante coming in from Death by Podcast. I'm here with Jim.
How you doing? This is Jim Backus. I am from the other podcast named Jim and Zopecast. Yeah. I want to thank you, Joe, for willing to do this with me and see where we can go with this.
Yes. So through the beautiful thing called social media, rather than tearing people new assholes and spewing shit out into, the public, we've developed a little, podcast relationship here, and through our love of horror movies. And if you listen to Death by Podcast, you know that I try to do 1 million podcasts, although it's not an easy task. But Jim and I, we managed to get this up and running. So Slice and Dice Dreadcast, that's where we're at, right, Jim?
Yeah, man. It took us a little while to get all the cards in a row, but finally got here, and we'll see how good it goes, and hopefully we get a good following and we get our point across and people enjoy listening to us.
Yes. So let me give a little, explanation of what we're going to be doing. Yeah, we're going to be doing random horror movies, basically, right? So we're going to go on Netflix, we're going to go on Amazon, we're going to go on Hulu, we're going to go on Shudder and other online streaming services and randomly choose movies.
Yeah, basically we're going to do like a roulette style and see what comes up, and good or bad, we're going to have to sit through the shit.
Yes. So all of our episodes will, be around that. We might pop things in here and there, we're doing this loosely, but ultimately at the end of the podcast, we'll choose 2 random movies to go with the next episode, right? So tonight's movies, Jim, you want to introduce them just to let the listeners know before we go in?
Sure. We got both from Netflix this week. The first one is Butcher Boys, and the second is We Are Still Here.
Yes. So I guess, you can know ahead of time what movies we'll be doing. You could watch them. Sometimes it might be a classic you've seen. Sometimes it might be not something you never heard of, like Butcher Boys. I did not know a thing about this movie going into it. Whereas We Are Still Here, I thought I saw it, but when I watched it, I realized I didn't see it. Or maybe I put it on once and fell asleep instantly from being whatever.
Yes, that happens.
But, I'm glad we did this because they were 2 interesting films.
It was funny because when Butcher Boys came up, I have seen that before, and watching it again, it all came back to me. But I did see that previously to us even doing this. That was a pretty good head start for me.
Oh, man. So, that was... We'll get into that in a sec. But, so, like we said, right, I'm over here from Death by Podcast. We're going to be doing this. Possibly another one, my 85 podcasts. But we're going to try to come in maybe like every other week and every two, and do our thing.
Yep.
So anything you want to discuss before we go into the movies?
Really just excited to get started because that's one thing that I've been trying to do. I wanted to originally, my other podcast I had started out with about a year and a half ago, kind of fizzled out with me, but it's basically I wanted to focus on horror or paranormal or things like that I'm interested in. So whenever this came along, I was all for it. So I'm just happy we actually get started and see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to talk paranormal stuff with you because I really know nothing about it and I'm extremely interested in it. I don't know if we want to get into all of it now. I know you recently were on the news and maybe you want to mention something about that.
Yeah. That was this morning, actually. We were on the news a couple times, but the most recent was actually this morning. A station out of Ohio came to the building that I volunteer out of, Haunted Hillview Manor in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and we did a couple of live feeds this morning. So, yeah, you can find that online at wytv.com. So you can head over there and view 4 parts we had this morning. So, yeah.
So what did you do? Show what exactly went down?
Well, they came to the building just to see. Most places get it confused with like the haunted houses, like kind of like I'll give a shout out to like the Houses October built, like that movie. They went and traveled to haunted attractions. Okay, well that's not what we do. Which,
may I mention, that is the movie that kind of brought us together. Right, because through Twitter and I guess the movie coming up, you had the director on your show. We covered the movie, and that's how it was. It's funny, right?
Yeah, I was messaging the director of that movie, and I went onto his page, and I came across your guys' podcast title. So I clicked on it, and I was like, "Oh shit, this seemed pretty cool." Do a lot of horror stuff, so. I'm pretty sure I probably sent the first message, and we just kind of like clicked from there. And you mentioned wanting to do another one. I said, "Oh yeah, let's do it, man." So
let's do it.
Here we are.
Boom, baby! Take that, Mike. Here's number 2. Boom.
Yeah, but basically the news thing today was they just wanted to focus on the building and our paranormal claims, which is basically like ghost hunting, paranormal investigating, and. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I've been doing it since I was like 9 years old, basically. So it's a big part of my life, and it's something we can definitely touch on down the line. We might not hit tonight, but yeah, in a future episode, we'll be able to get into it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, let's. So actually, before we get into the movies, I realized I had 2 questions for you. So we are doing a Rob Zombie retrospective on our podcast, Rob Zombie Retrospective. So I know from talking with you that Halloween, I believe, is your favorite horror film, right?
The original Halloween.
The original Halloween, yes. So, 2 questions. What's your favorite Rob Zombie movie, and what are your feelings on his take of Halloween and Michael Myers?
Okay, the favorite Rob Zombie film so far would probably be... honestly, it's a toss-up. Probably, I would say leaning more towards House of a Thousand Corpses, but Devil's Rejects is second.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm a big fan of those. Actually, I haven't seen 31 yet. I'm going to be watching that for the next episode of Death by Podcast, but I'm looking forward to that. I'll give mine at the end of the retrospective, so I don't want to blow my wad yet.
Yeah. teaser.
But, woohoo, yes. So, all right, great. But as far as Michael Myers and his take on Halloween, where do you stand on that?
I guess I kind of surprised people with my feelings on it because I'm such a purist of the original, and John Carpenter and what they were able to do back then with very, very little money and being independent film. But I honestly was a fan of Rob Zombie's remake. I know he wasn't. If you did any kind of research on that, He hated that movie more than anything, and he just basically felt forced to put it out. And it was a shame because he did a good job. He told a backstory. You got a little bit more that we didn't know, and you added the gore factor to it that Halloween didn't have. Basically, had zero blood in the original Halloween movie. But I enjoyed it, and I've watched it many, many times. I actually just met Tyler Main and Scout Taylor Compton down at Scarefest a couple weeks back.
Nice.
And that was pretty fun. And sadly, whenever he made the remake or the Halloween 2, I kind of lost all respect for him. But but Halloween 1, the remake, was actually not bad at all, and a lot of people hated it. But I was like, you know what, I can appreciate what they did, and I was a fan of it. So yeah, I still watch it to today.
Nice. Yeah, I enjoyed it myself. I really did. I thought the opening scene was, well, I guess it was like a half hour. The first act was fucking amazing, man. I mean, it blew me away. I love the whole mythology behind it. I mean, ultimately, the original, I think, might outweigh that. But there are people who believe the otherwise.
Yeah. See, John Carpenter did a thing, and what's funny is he basically said, I just wanted to make a movie. They were in college, and they said, I just want to get a movie out there. But the fact that his simplicity gave viewers the ability to make up their own minds about what they believe or what they wanted to think, what happened, why he was doing it, and all this stuff, I thought that was way better than what Rob Zombie did as far as giving everything away, as far as why he was doing what he was doing and all this stuff. I think leaving things up to the viewer and making them make up their own mind is a good thing to do.
Right. I mean, he brought the shape and made it human, you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. In the credits, it wasn't even Michael Myers; it was the shape. So he kind of just took on its own entity after that. But he was not Michael Myers in the film, in the credits. If you watch that, it was the shape.
Right.
Yeah. So. Do
you know if in the later movies it's Michael Myers?
Yeah. After the original, it became, when they realized that they were going to keep making movies, it became just strictly Michael Myers and never, he was never going to die type entity. But yeah, in the original, it was a movie they made, and they had no interest in doing any kind of sequels or anything like that. But once it made money, companies.
Sure, of course, gotta make that dough.
But he actually didn't. He didn't even direct it. He produced part 2, I believe, and after that, he didn't have anything to do with another Halloween. So it was all John Carpenter. Really, just part 1 was all him, and everything else was just random directors.
Yeah. Mike brought up an interesting point when we talked about this. He said people go fucking crazy about Rob Zombie doing Halloween, yet look at all the sequels of Halloween and the way they actually tarnished Michael Myers. And I never really thought about that until he said it. Yeah, man. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. But sequels are what they are. People are they know what to expect with them. They're like, oh, it's going to be basically the same thing. He's going to get killed, but not really get killed, and all this kind of stuff. And that's how every horror slasher sequel is. I mean, you go to anything, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, they're all basically the same movies. They just want to make money. That's just what companies are there for. But I think the whole thing about him remaking it was purists of Halloween and John Carpenter kind of felt like you didn't need to. It was a great film on its own. Why remake it? But hey, it was almost 10 years since in between the last original series movie, which was Halloween Resurrection, which was in 1998, I believe, until they made Rob Zombie's Halloween in 2007. So they gave it a big gap before they said, you know what, we're going to go and do this.
Right. And then they have an upcoming one, and Carpenter's on board producing, I believe.
He is. Yes. They finally got him to agree to come back, and I think it's going to be, well, I'm hoping pretty good, as long as the writing staff is decent. But he won't let it be ruined. That's why. I know he'll do a good job.
Is it going to be a like, do you know anything about it? Is it going to be a sequel? Or?
There, honestly, when you research it, there's very different opinions of what it's going to be. I don't think they have an actual script nailed down yet, but we really don't know what it's going to be. It could be an addition, or it can just be like a missing piece or something like that. But we don't really know where it's going to fit in the whole scheme of the series yet.
All right, sweet. Well, maybe you never know. One of these Halloween movies might come up on one of our randos.
I won't have to watch it again. I know that much. But
No. If it comes up, you gotta watch it.
Oh,
yes.
Okay, you're twisting my arm.
Twist.
Yeah.
It's part of the torture of it, right?
I have no problem. That's one thing that I hate about Netflix. I wish they did have more of those type of series on there, like the Halloween's, Friday 13th, and they have a couple Nightmare on Elm Streets on there, and a couple Scream 1 or Scream 2 and 3, I think. But I wish they had more.
Yeah, agreed. I like the Shudder. They have a lot of movies that the other streaming services don't carry. They have a lot of the Italian giallo and horror films. So, Shudder is pretty cool. They got all the, Night of the Living Dead movies. Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. So, it's pretty rad.
Gotta love them. I mean, the original was filmed right about 20 minutes away from me right here. So,
oh, shit.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yep, right down here in Evans City, Pennsylvania. They filmed at Evans City Cemetery, and that's the main part, the Coming to Get You, where they drive up, Barbara. And, it was filmed right about 20 minutes up the road from me.
Awesome, man. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Shout out to George Romero here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to our venture, Jim, and doing this podcast, dude. So let's roll the dice here, slice and dice.
We're gonna have to get some nice sound effects in there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm not good with the sound effects stuff. I'm lucky I could put together what I can, but maybe Jim's got a rig over there. I got a little putt-putt hoopty.
Yeah, I'll send you over some files. We'll be fine.
Yeah, baby. We're going to make it happen. Let's do it. So, up first, I believe we're going to do Butcher Boys.
Sure. Let me pull that up. Yeah, basically, I'll read the summary real quick, and then we'll go into our thoughts. All right. But, I'm over here courtesy of IMDb. And basically says it's a gut-wrenching, non-stop roller coaster ride through a hellish underbelly of inner-city America. Which, when I first watched it the first time, I did not get. I thought they were in like a foreign country of some sort, but the way it's shot, it looks like a back alley Russia type film.
You know what? It really does.
It does. A birthday celebration at an upscale restaurant sets in motion events that bring Sissy, her brother Mikey, and friends Kenny and Barbie face to face with the macabre world of the Bone Boys. Inspired by Jonathan Swift's A Cannibalistic Tale, A Modest Proposal, the Bone Boys are international predators who deal in human flesh, dead or alive. Their hunting grounds are the cities of the world.
Oh, man.
So they called them the Bone Boys there, but the actual title is Butcher Boys. I don't know.
They were going to call the movie Bone Boys, I believe, originally, and then changed it to Butcher Boys.
Okay. Do you think maybe it was Bone Boys in that book or something, maybe?
Yeah, maybe there's some connection. I'm not sure. I don't really know much about A Modest Proposal, but maybe. As an English professor, it makes me a terrible person to say that.
You can't know everything.
I can't know everything. If you want me to teach it, I'll read it and ace it. No problem. But it's only so much. Yeah. No, I mean, I knew about it back in the day. I remember coming across it in college, but 12 years later, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a disappointing film. I mean, it had gore. It had like that dark type feel, kind of like I guess it could be in the vein of like the old school Last House on the Left type films. You had that factor of anything can happen, anybody can die type thing. It wasn't a bad film to me. Good Netflix pick. So, what were your thoughts on it?
My thoughts were, I thought it was a lot better than what I was expecting. I was going in like, here we go, F movie, Netflix doo-doo bump. But it turned out to be entertaining. I mean, ultimately, the acting was horrendous. I'm talking about horrendous. WH horrendous.
Yeah.
Right? I do have to say the lead actress, Sissy, who was played by Ali Faulkner, she was good. She actually was the only person who knew how to act in this movie. Like, I could see her doing more movies as a final girl and doing her thing,
The main killer in the gang, I don't know his name in the movie, but the actor is Johnny Walter. He was kind of
oh my gosh.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything new.
No, definitely not. I was like, is this guy serious? Like, you just like widen your eyes, clench your teeth, and you're automatically this badass fucking cannibalistic gore monger. I mean,
method actor.
Yeah. I had to taste blood to get into the role.
I went to NYU.
Yes. Seriously, I mean, it was outlandish. It really was the way I couldn't. Every time he got pissed off, I couldn't take him seriously.
Yeah,
I really couldn't. Yeah. And also the buddy of his, I don't know what the character's name was. I want to call him
the one he keeps fighting with.
No, his he's the one who's like a real pit bull. He's like over the top. Like, I think he had the chainsaw at that one point. That guy. If I look on the thing, yeah,
I'm looking through the cast, but I can't even picture him right now.
Yeah, I don't know. He might have been like Hispanic or black. I'm not sure. He definitely was over the top. I mean,
oh, he wore the wife beater. Yeah, I know you're talking.
Yeah, he had the wore the wife beater. Dude was like, in my mind, he was just like pit bull. He was like this little pit bull, But his acting was so over the top. I was like, why? He
doesn't even have a picture in the cast. It's just it's just a bunch of names. So,
I mean, I don't know how far into spoilers we want to go yet.
Shit! You know what? I will say every episode, probably we should just put that in the beginning, because I find it hard to stop myself when I'm talking about something. And if somebody don't want to listen about a movie, sorry about your luck, but you're going to probably hear a lot about the movie.
Yeah, no, definitely. We want to get it all out in the open, but maybe at a certain point we say, because I mean, we know the cannibals is from the summary. I mean, if you watch the trailer, it'll probably show you the whole movie in a fucking 2-minute span, But as far as like the very ending, actually, you know what? This should be a old spoiler podcast, because everything we'll be doing is VOD and way accessible,
it's review style. So obviously we're gonna review what the hell we watched.
You know what? From now on, spoilers are on the table in this podcast, and we will make that clear, because some people get pissed when they listen to something and the beans get spilled. But ultimately, let's do this. So
if nothing else, we might be able to bite our tongues on if we're watching like a whodunit. We might not give away the killer, but sometimes we might. So either way, deal with it.
Yeah. Either way, deal with it. So,
This isn't one of those films.
no, this is definitely not. So, I mean, all right, a couple things about this film. It's like, it's all over the place. It's fucking trying to be everything in one. You have crazy car chases, right? You have torture porn. You have the crazy fucking, family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, who the writer of this movie wrote. Kim Henkel wrote the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He wrote the remake. I don't know if he wrote the remake, but he was involved with it. He wrote a whole bunch of stuff, but what do you think here? I mean, is this movie way too influenced by Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
I would say yes. If nothing else, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of maybe trying to pay homage, to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But yeah, when I was watching it, and especially the end, like I told you, it was basically a shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah, the last scene.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit, man. They didn't even try to change it.
Not a bit.
That's basically all it was. I mean, the family of cannibals and the crazy dude, the crazy guy chained to the wall, and he was obviously a Leatherface character, but
right.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely mirrored the film, but it wasn't as good, nowhere near as good.
It took place in fucking San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't get any more Texas than that, right?
Nah, that's deep in the heart.
The movie, actually, one thing that I did like about it is it kept my attention the whole time. And it was because I didn't know exactly what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Even watching it for the second time, I forgot because it was so unmemorable. But I forgot what was going to happen. I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I liked aspects of this movie, and then there was stuff that I didn't like. I mean, aside from the acting, but it was like, all right, it's inspired by Jonathan Swift. We know that, but does it have to be, the restaurant have to be called J. Swift's?
Yeah.
Does the bakery have to be Grimm's? I mean, Grimm's Fairy Tale Bakery,
Yeah.
the whole, come on. I mean, it doesn't have to be that literal. I understand you want to do this kind of thing. I don't know. And then, what were the characters' names? Kenny and Barbie? Ken and Barbie? Come on. Really? Yep. Kenny and Barbie? Really, dude? Like, are you trying to make this a bad fucking movie?
It's like they were trying to drop little Easter eggs, but they don't really understand what an Easter egg is.
It's more like a bunny shit, not an Easter egg.
They're gonna drop loads of shit all over there from the Easter bunny,
I mean, I think the directors, Dwayne Graves and Justin Meeks, did a decent job. It's not like, I couldn't put together this movie, but I think maybe I could write better scenes, better dialogue. I think that I might be able to do. Mm-hmm. The story was good. The story was interesting, but the dialogue between characters was horrible. I don't know if it was because of the terrible acting. Maybe if some better actors,
Well, you can't get Tom Cruise to be in a Netflix horror film, so they got to do
Tom Cruise. Fuck Tom Cruise.
Oh,
but
that's the first name that pops in my head,
right? He's a fucking generic master. I mean, you can't knock Tom Cruise. Top Gun, baby. You can't fuck around.
He did what he did, man. He did what he did.
Yes. But anyway, yeah. I ultimately, I wasn't. I came in expecting the worst, and what I got out of it was an entertaining, midnight movie. You're up in the night, want to throw something on in case you fall asleep on it. This is a good movie to do that too. A
lot of little things they threw in there too. The fact that the gang totally does not, like, they have no intention of looking at these people as human beings. They look at them as meat and as what kind of quality they are and all that. And that kind of gets you like a little puts you a little uneasy feeling. Like, are there people out there that just are walking down the street, like, thinking, like, oh, that drug addict is tainted meat, but that homegrown, country girl, she's probably good choice meat, and that's how they described him in the movie, too, which was kind of...
And see, that's the thing about this movie. It has some great aspects of it. It has, like, this gothic Edgar Allan Poe uneasy feeling, throughout it. But then, can you imagine you had you took this story and had some better acting involved? I mean, the effects would look great. The fucking killing looked great. I had no problem with the practical effects at all. I couldn't get over this over the top acting. It really tarnished this movie. This movie could have been really good. Really, really good.
And if you've ever been on like a movie set and all that, and like the director, they'll always say, all right, do it again, roll back, reset. I'm like, when I watch movies like this, I'm like, did he really just watch that scene and say, cut, got it? I want to be like, you didn't think you could do that a little bit better?
I mean, it's easy for us to be critics, of course. When you're making art, I mean, it's one thing, but when you're putting it out there on public display, get ready for scrutiny. We're gonna look at it that way. I don't know. When you come at it as an artist, you have a different lens, I guess. But you see some of these movies that come out, it's like, what did you? Seriously? I mean, really? We just talked about the new Blair Witch. Did you see that one?
I did not.
All right, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's fucking, it's by the guy who did The Guest and I just went blank on it. You're Next. I thought that was a great one. And yeah, I don't know. It was a dud. It was a dud in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's hard. You gotta juggle what you have. There's many factors that come into play, but ultimately, when you're telling a story that, whether you have shitty actors or no budget to make it look good or whatever it is, like this movie, there's a good story here. So I do give it a lot more credit than it might deserve. I don't know. I think it deserves credit for sure. And we'll get to our ratings in a little while. But there were things that I did like about this. Like I said, I liked the whole aspect, how they were calling it junk, like it was a drug. There was like fucking junky, fucking, I guess, cannibals and high-end cannibals. That was an interesting aspect.
Yeah, like the leader, with the slick back hair, he wants the grade A top choice meat, and the best drug out there, and these other guys are like just the scavengers wanted to have whatever they can get, but they basically do by eating her. I'm not gonna, I guess, whatever. Spoiler, they eat her friend. Yeah, and she's kind of like the whore and all that, and
she's like, come on, let's do it, like.
She's like, I totally would have blown you. I'm like, oh, God, come on.
Meanwhile, it's like, really? Dude just wants to eat your ass.
Yeah. Literally. They don't need any of that
shit. Exactly. They're not looking
back. I thought it was interesting, too, that whenever they were in the car and they actually got the girl, and the cops came up, and the rookie cop was kind of like, I need to call this in, and the veteran cop stopped him and pulled a gun on him and said, we got to get out of here. Like the hold that this gang has over the town is pretty insane. Yes.
I mean, you see that other gang, right? They roll up, they're in an Escalade, they see that guy, and they're like, "Oh, jump back in their car," and they get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and it's an Escalade full of like big Hispanic gang members, and they just like run back into their truck and drive away.
Later.
Yeah. So that tells you right there when you're watching that, you're like, holy shit, who are we watching? Like, what are we dealing with here? How bad are these guys? And then you get into their hideout and you kind of see, but yeah, it's.
Right. And their hideout is pretty fucking brutal. You got, girls in cages and cells. Mm-hmm. This guy's running around with a cattle prod.
Yeah. Crazy ass doctor.
Oh my gosh. That was fucking nuts, that dude.
So yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad for like you said, for a Netflix film. You're sitting at home bored on a late night. You want to throw something on? Go ahead, throw it on, give it a watch.
Yeah, give it a watch. It ain't
Definitely not the worst on there.
Ain't anywhere near as bad as I thought. That's for shit sure. So
I
yeah,
agree.
there was. I mean, if you want to really bust this movie down, there's a couple of things you can extract from it. Obviously, it's inspired by literature, so it does have a lot of symbolism and things behind it, but it gets tarnished by the, I guess, F movie acting. Like I said earlier, if this movie was made maybe by different directors and different actors with the same writer, who crafted this. I mean, if you're writing this movie, you gave birth to this story and the idea. Boom. The directors now, the actors, they all make it come to life, right?
Yeah, and that's where directors get bad raps. I mean, their hands are tied. They can't make a whole new movie. They're basically have a script and they got to shoot it.
Right. So the script is decent. The story is great. The story, I think, is great. You have an international cannibalistic fucking drug ring, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's right, kidnapping people off streets. But in this, they're like, I don't remember if it takes place. Oh, it takes place in San Antonio. This is a major city. There's nobody on the streets but one fucking cop car, and that's it. I mean, I thought some of that stuff ridiculous, but I understand you're working with a budget, yada yada yada. It was still, successful in a way.
So you did see that it was supposed to be. I didn't know that it was in San Antonio.
Yeah,
it looked like California to me.
I thought it might have been LA, but then when they do imagery of the city in the beginning, like a lot of bird's head view, they show this building, which made me think it was Seattle, but it's, I guess, the Needle. Maybe it's some kind of building in San Antonio.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed that.
Yeah, I gotta look. No, the Needle Point building is in Seattle, but there was something in San Antonio. The Tower of the Americas. That's what it was. So it's just, I don't know if you remember in the opening shots when they're doing like a bird's head view. It's like this. It almost looks like a building from the Jetsons.
Okay.
You know what I think in Seattle, the Needle Point building.
Seattle Space Needle, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that. So that's how I knew it was San Antonio. Yeah.
Well, makes sense.
Unless they were just using, city and didn't, take that into consideration.
Yeah, they definitely. I don't remember them ever saying it at all. But I don't know. Guess it didn't really matter where it was.
Yeah, according to IMDb, it was filmed at Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Texas, and Taylor, Texas. So
okay,
we're in Texas, baby.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 7.
Yeah, literally, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the future.
Yeah,
right.
The shitty version.
The shitty version was the Next Generation Part 2, every fucking sequel until the actual remake, which was better than every sequel that ever came out from it.
You're talking about the Jessica Biel version?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. The budget on here was $1.5 million, so I mean they had a couple dollars to work with, so I guess that's why it looks good, and that's why they have shitty actors.
That's actually a minimal budget for a movie, so that's actually not. They actually did better than I thought they did if that's all they had. But yeah, they did a lot.
Not bad, not bad. One thing that this movie did, it had exploitative aspects of it, but like there were no, like when you watch Rob Zombie's Halloween, they raped a woman right there in the room. All this. There's actually no scenes like that. If you listen to any of Death by Podcasts, you know how I feel about that kind of stuff. I get kind of uneasy. when it's done for gratuitous factors. So I do give this movie kudos for not, for getting the dread and the fear aspects of it down when it came to when they brought him down into the tunnels and you saw the girls in the cells and stuff like that. I give them kudos to that.
Yeah, I mean, even that one party scene, you kind of think that's probably the kind of stuff that was going on in there, but they didn't show anything.
Right. I mean, to make, it's easy to just throw that shit on the screen and make people, be like, oh, gross, fucked up, whatever it makes you feel. But when you can capture that without showing it, that's, I think, stronger, I think it leaves more of an impact.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'll say about Rob Zombie is he is very influenced by like the 70s horror, and two of the most popular, I guess, successful movies of back in that day were, I guess, Last House on the Left and I Spit on Your Grave, which are basically mirror image movies, but they had a lot of that kind of rape stuff and in your face, exploitative type stuff. So I think he takes a lot from those films, but it's a new age, man. This is 30 years down the road. You don't have to do that anymore.
Right.
Back then it was shock value.
It's almost like throwing the jump scares in, you know what I mean? When you do these cheesy jump scares, it's like, enough already, man, It's not fucking scary anymore, dude.
It's like going through a big haunted house around Halloween. They build it huge. It takes you 25 minutes to walk through, but after the first 5 minutes of jump scares, you're kind of desensitized. Like, okay, I'm not scared anymore.
Right.
And you got to walk around for the rest of the damn time. That's kind of like a movie, shorter version of a movie. You get scared at the beginning, and then you're like, okay, now I got to sit here for another, 60 minutes.
Right. Oh man, we might be coming across some of those in our randoms.
Oh, but
sure. This movie wasn't about motive and all that. It was more about being an exploitative horror adventure,
Mm-hmm.
So you wanna rate this? Throw our ratings out there.
Sure.
And move on to our next film. So, I originally was going to give this a 2.5, but I'm going to have to drop it down to a 2 after really thinking about how bad the acting was and how good that the story was. And I get the 2 stars for the story. All right, 2.5 zombie heads. 2.5 zombie heads I'm giving it because it did look good. The kills looked good, and the story was good, man. There was some cheesy dialogue, maybe because of the horrible acting. There was some illogical aspects of it, but nothing to really, make me like, huh, what the fuck's going on? I knew what was going on the whole time. There are things about like the whole international aspect of it with clientele that might get a little confusing or you might not catch on to as well, but ultimately 2.5 zombie heads.
And this is out of 5, correct?
Out of 5, yes.
Okay. Originally I was going to go with a 3.5. I'm going to drop it down to a 3. Three zombie heads out of 5 for this one. Like you said, it wasn't a head scratcher. There wasn't any kind of guessing game here. I mean, aside from what the hell am I like? What is the point and what am I watching? It wasn't like a thought-provoking type film. And once it was over, I was like, okay, that's what it was. I didn't go home thinking about, what did I just see? What did that really mean? I knew what the hell it meant. These people were crazy. They were trying to eat her. It is what it is.
Yep, exactly. Sheer brutality, high octane. It's not a slow burner like the next film we're going to talk about. If you want in-your-face action, non-stop gore fest, crazy fun, this is the movie to watch. So.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said fun there because actually it's under the comedy and action category on IMDb for some reason, and it's not a comedy by any means.
No, it's just a big fucking joke.
Exactly. That's probably why it's a comedy.
Oh man, I mean, you know what? I enjoyed this movie more than Blair Witch. I gave Blair Witch 1.5.
Okay.
You know, so I give this movie props.
Well, that's definitely one thing we might have to do is hit a maybe theater new release film sometimes too. Down the road.
Yeah, down the road. Like I said earlier, we could do our our random flicks and then pop stuff in whenever we want.
Yeah.
Loosey goosey. So, all right, good. So, shall we move on to our next film?
I think so.
All right, great. So, next up is We Are Still Here, 2015. This was directed by Ted Geohegan and stars Barbara Crampton, Andrew Sessing, Lisa Marie, and Larry Fessenden. And if you're familiar with him, good stuff. So I'll give the synopsis here, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty.
All right.
This movie was distributed by Dark Sky Films, who I love. They put out some great stuff, quality horror films. So this is great to see this movie under their banner. Here's our storyline. After their teenage son is killed in a car crash, Paul and Anne move to the quiet New York countryside to start a new life for themselves. But the grieving couple unknowingly becomes the prey of a family of vengeful spirits that reside in their new home. And before long, they discover that the seemingly peaceful town they've moved into is hiding a terrifyingly dark secret. Now they must find a way to overcome their sorrow and fight back against both the living and the dead, as the malicious ghosts threaten to pull their souls and the soul of their lost son into hell with them. Oh my. The movie is so much
riveting reading.
Riveting. The movie is so much better than the plot description.
Yes, and definitely the word you used at the beginning was it's slow. This is a slow burn movie.
Yes. A lot of people dislike slow burners. I am a big fan of them, but when they don't pan out in the end, I get pissed off.
I think that's what gets people a little bit jaded. They're like, okay, they want to give it the benefit of the doubt. Like, okay, there's gonna be a slow burn, and then the credits start rolling. You're like, well, where the hell was the payout?
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Before we actually talk about the movie, I'll give a quick little story. This happened 2 weeks ago. I went to the Brooklyn Horror Film Festival on opening night, and afterwards I met up with Mike, and we went to the after party in Williamsburg. And we're hanging out. We're talking with our buddy who hooks us up with screeners and stuff for festivals and gets us press passes and everything. And she's like, oh, she grabs this guy and she's like, and this is Ted, you also share emails with him. I'm like, yeah, what's up, Ted? Nice to meet you, And Ted's like, yeah. And somehow it comes up, yeah, I'm a filmmaker. And Mike's like, yeah, everybody over here is a filmmaker, right? Like, sarcastically, I don't know, he was a little saucy or whatever, but he got offended because it turned out he's the fucking director of We Are Still Here. And I was like, what a small fucking world. We randomly get this movie on Netflix, and now we're chilling with fucking Ted Geohegan. And yeah, it was a fun night. He told us about the ins and outs of the business, and really was a real chill dude. And he was telling us about his next movie called Mohawk, and really looking forward to catching that. If you want to know, what actually went down in the deets, tune into Death by Podcast episode 6, where you will hear the deets on what actually went down. And you could catch that at deathbypodcast.com and look for it under the podcast link. or check us out on iTunes, probably right underneath where this file would be. And so it was just a small world that we met Ted, and like I said, he's a cool dude, made a good movie, and looking forward to talking about it for a little bit right now. So, Jim, you want to give your first thoughts about this film?
Yeah, and what's funny, I'll just start out by saying this for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. This is rare for a Netflix type film, but it has 15 nominations for awards throughout different award not the festivals, like film festivals, things like that. And it actually won the award at the Phantaspoa International Fantastic Film Festival for Best Special Effects. So I thought that was pretty interesting. They actually were pretty good effects.
Yeah, they were. I mean, the hand ripping through the chest in the car scene. Whew, that was great, man. Looked great.
But even the visual of the actual inhabitants of the home, I'll say for right now, but they were themselves charred and looking just really, really good.
Yes, the apparitions here. So this is a ghost film. It like our last movie that I mentioned, it has a really gothic Edgar Allan Poe aspect to it, especially this one a lot more than the last one.
Oh, yeah.
We basically have this family. They lost their son. They moved from the big city up into the country, and you have some beautiful shots. You have wide shots of the highway and the house, right? It adds this like eeriness, even the kind of car that it is. It's just like, I don't know, the sounds, the low tones, everything. It's real dread, right? To use the Dreadcast.
Yeah, even the look of it, like the winter look and the dark. It's definitely not. There's no scene in this movie where it's like a happy feeling.
Right, none. I mean, there's that one comedic scene when they walk into the bar, and it's just like the record. Yeah, Aside from that, no. I mean, I guess you have the friends that come up and visit, Larry Fessenden and what's her name, Lisa Marie. They May and Jacob Lewis. That's the characters' names. They come to do a seance, and they're like real, free-spirited type medium folks.
Oh yeah, and what's funny is me knowing a lot of people in the paranormal field, quote unquote psychics and sensitives and all that stuff. They definitely got into that role pretty good, because that's how most of them really act in real life. So yeah,
just cracking beers, fucking man, go do it, hon.
Yeah, they'll do all that stuff. Smoke some drugs. They'll drink some beers, and they'll say, "Okay, let me go and cleanse your house from spirits." Like, what?
How about you cleanse your mind first?
Yeah, cleanse you.
Yeah, man. So they come to the house, and then we get a visit from a couple, and what's his name? What's their names? Do you remember the guy's name by any chance?
Are you talking about the couple?
He's like this. Remember?
The neighbor. The
neighbors. Yes, he's the fucking.
Yeah, Dave. What's his name? Dave.
Dave McCabe. There it is. Dave McCabe.
Yeah, Dave McCabe and his wife. And I'm not finding it here.
Yeah. Dude was.
They're basically the neighbors.
Dude was fucking creepy.
Yeah. And obviously his wife was pretty fucking scared or something.
Yeah.
Kat McCabe was his wife's name.
Yes, Kat.
Dave
That's right, Kat. She, so the neighbors come by. They talk about its history. The house was made in like 1859, and its trouble began. So apparently, morticians are selling corpses to the university. This scene where he's like, the Orientals in Boston were made into chop suey. And fucking, there's a little comedy too, There's some comedic fucking elements in this, But ultimately, it's this this guy, and that's the background behind it. So Cat gives a note that says the family needs to get out of there, and you know, the actor who plays Dave, Monty Markham, he's just fucking sinister with his line delivery.
No, definitely. He was you knew from the get-go this dude wasn't going to be good.
Yeah. The main male lead, Paul Sacchetti, is the character. Andrew Sensek's character. He's like, it's the Sacchetti house now. And freaking then Dave McCabe's like, it's still the Dagmos. Like, so sinister. Great acting in this movie.
And the whole "this house needs a family" thing made you think about a lot throughout the movie. Like, what did that mean? You know, they were told the house needs a family.
Right.
I knew right away they weren't talking about, just to live in.
No. It needs a rental.
Yeah.
It needs to be rented. No.
We got to pay the bills.
We want to eat you.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
We discussed jump scares, but this film did have a couple good jump scares, I guess, if you were watching it in the right light. A couple good little, not too many, but as the ghosts, we'll just call them ghosts, I guess, throughout the movie, they started appearing. A couple of the scenes were pretty well shot that kind of got you like, oh shit. All right.
Right. The jump scares, they're legit here. They're not cheesy. And for the tension's always there. So I remember this one scene. It's like a close up of Barbara Crampton, and there's like this blackness in a hole, and like you just think something might just jump out and like scare the shit out of her or something, and nothing happens. But the whole time you're on edge, and that right now I think is better than just a shitty jump scare like the new Blair Witch. It was just like hundreds of jump scares just for no reason. Just because,
Yeah.
Fucking shit is retarded. So anyway, jump scares in this were legit. That was a great point. A little thing. The husband kept calling her kiddo. That shit wasn't. I was like, what? Why do you keep calling her kiddo? That's a little quirk of mine right there. I mean, aside from that, I got no complaints about this movie. I thought this was actually one of the best of 2015 in my top 10 of 2015.
I agree. And I mean, they had, like I said, it's not a slasher. I mean, it had deaths in it, but it wasn't anything crazy. But they definitely did they killed people that kind of, the whole family thing in this film was very, very direct. Like the whole film had a lot to do with family, and their son being killed, and then the friends coming up, their son coming up with his girlfriend, and all this stuff. I mean, it was a lot of it had to do with family in this film.
Yes,
and the ending was actually a happy ending in my mind.
It was right. I loved the ending of this movie. It's rare that you get that satisfaction, and that like the door's closed. There's not going to be some fucking sequels, cash grabs, and shit like that. This movie was made, artistically. It's not an art house movie by any means, but it was made with artistry. You know what I mean? It's a quality movie. Ted and company took care putting into this, took quality. They made sure they put out a quality film. The script, fucking top notch. The way it looks, the direction, the budget on this movie, it's probably less than Butcher Boys. He actually told us the budget. I forgot exactly what it was. Mike might remember, but yeah, man, it was great. I got no complaints about this one. What's it called? I'm trying to find the budget over here on IMDb because I'm really actually curious. I really forgot. I know it was not a lot though.
No. Oh shit.
Anyway, else? What else? What else? I gotta pull open my notes, start extracting some stuff. Oh man! So after that bar scene, right? That bar scene was wicked. It turned out from being, this funny little thing where they all walk in and everything, uneasy feeling, and then bar's closed.
Mm-hmm.
It's the barkeep and the waitress. Get a knock on the door.
Well, right there, then you realize whenever the bartender's asking the waitress all those questions, it's something. Everybody knows something. It's like a town thing. When she asks them, what were they talking about? What did they say? And then she goes, and like you said, the door knocks, and she goes towards the door.
Boom. We'll leave it at that. For we don't want to go. I would. We'll leave it at that. Yeah. That's when shit gets into real deal Holyfield high gear.
Yeah, you knew right there. You're like, oh shit. So I didn't have a good feeling about this. Now I know.
That's like when the slow burn stops and it goes into full on horror mode for the rest of the film. Yeah, man, great movie. There was a lot of small things that I liked. For example, the whole thing with the little picture frame knocks the picture frame over. It's like, oh, who are these apparitions? Is it the sun? It's trying to throw you off, and it does, because you don't know exactly what's going on. And then you find out, down the line at the end of the movie, that it needs a new family every 30 years, or it'll take the town. It'll eat the town.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And the foreshadowing, whenever they were going in the basement, you could they said they always smelled that char smell, the burning smell, and made you think like, what, obviously has something to do with the deaths in the house, but not until you actually start seeing the spirits that you understand why.
Right. They're pretty brutal, those spirits. They must be real hungry, because the kills are phenomenal. There's plenty of blood spatter in this movie at the end, and especially when the townsfolk decide to raid Barbara Crampton's home. It's a full-on onslaught. So both these movies ends with a full-on onslaught, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. The townspeople just show up, and it doesn't work out for them. No, they get their asses handed to them. Yeah, they're both and what's funny is this isn't even the gore fest movie, but these killings in that house is probably gorier than the ones in Indiana Butcher Boy.
Oh yeah, and it looks much better too. But the buildup of the slow burn is executed with precision, and if you're ready to rate them, I'm down.
Let's do it.
All right, I give this one 4.5 out of 5 zombie heads.
I was gonna go 4.5. I'm gonna go with 4. I'll say a 4 because it won't. Not everybody will enjoy the slow burn of it, but movie wise, definitely 4 out of 5. All
right. Yes, I'm a big fan of the slow burn, especially when it succeeds.
Exactly.
And all right, very good, very good. The first episode is coming to a close. Great, Jim. Had a blast on this episode with you.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna pull up Netflix.
Like I said, this was me over.
Nervous and so.
Next one.
Oh, I can't wait. Cannot wait.
If you ever listen to, I'll give a shout out to my other podcast, Jim and Zopecat. I have others. I don't know what your thoughts are. Can I plug them all, or do you want me to just stick to one?
Yeah, of course, dude. Plug away, baby.
All right. Yeah, well, my other one, Jim and Zopecast, Jim and Zope, Zope cast. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, all over the internet, wherever podcasts are. YouTube with our live video episodes. They are coming together better now. A lot of production value goes into those. So what are your thoughts whenever have you seen any of those? You there? Uh-oh. Did I lose him? Are you there?
I'm here. I had a little glitch. I don't know what happened. The episode went too smoothly, dude.
It did. I was like, what the hell?
I must have had like something with the Wi-Fi. I must have just jumped or whatever. But whatever. We could edit stuff, leave it. Who gives a shit?
It doesn't bother me none. So basically, what I was saying, about the Jim and Zobcast, you can find us everywhere. I don't know. Were you hearing it? If you didn't hear it, you probably didn't pick up on your end.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear anything.
All right. I'll just repeat whatever. Jim and Zobcast, go on iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube. YouTube, we have our live video shows on there. We have our recorded video shows on there. A lot of good production goes into those. You've watched a couple of our episodes, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah, so it's definitely not what we do here. So it's something way different. This is more my speed and my interests, but I love doing that show. I've been doing it for almost 2 years now. And then if you like the paranormal, if you're listening to this and you like anything to do with paranormal, I do Cross the Line with Jim and Rochelle. And we normally do it out of Hillview Manor, which is one of the country's most haunted locations here in Pennsylvania. And we've been on TV, and we were just on the news this morning. We've been on Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Lab, Ghost Asylum. We've been on all those TV shows. And I'm going to be doing my other one coming up, but I won't even plug that yet. We got to get things situated on that. But yeah, those are the only two that I'll plug right now.
I didn't even know about this other podcast you did.
Yeah, we've been doing that. It's actually like we started out just on audio, and then we went to video, and then we went to the Facebook Live now. So we've been doing it for almost 3 years. So we always say we wanted to make it like we had a couple titles, but if you go on my Facebook, you can find it. Or if you go on Facebook, you can look for Cross the Line with Jim and Rochelle. And you can find us on there and like our page. And we go live on Facebook. We do we have a good time doing that. We talk about the paranormal, but really we do lecturing too at conventions sometimes. So we are kind of the honest paranormal people. We basically just tell it like it is, because we don't care. Me and her have been doing it for so many years. And we're not trying to be celebrities. We're not trying to, blow smoke up people's asses. We know what's real paranormal. We know what's fake. And we basically just tell it like it is. And people really enjoy hearing that instead of like the actors, talking stuff up. So
yeah, no. See, I'll give you an example. I saw the movie The Fourth Kind, right? Okay. I don't know if you ever saw it. And in the beginning, they're like, this is, true events. And you watch it, and it shows like, it's like real deal, it looks like. And I was like, I'm so gullible, bro. I can't believe they fucking tricked me, bro. I mean, like the Blair Witch tricked me. That was great fucking, media marketing. But this, I was so pissed off. I was like, are you kidding me? Now this whole movie sucks. I hate it now. They were like showing the original footage juxtaposed against the reenacting, so it made you think it was real. I was like, holy shit.
Oh, I know. I remember what that was. Oh, what the hell? Who was in that?
The chick from Resident Evil. Forgot
Mila
her name.
Jovovich.
Yeah, Mila Jovovich.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. And that was about, what, 3 years ago, maybe? 2 years ago?
Yeah, a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I never watched it, but I remember what one you're talking about. Now they had, the real quote-unquote footage and then the acting footage. Okay.
I'm going to look forward to talking about this stuff a little bit with you. So,
yeah.
All right, great. So, for the next episode of Slice and Dice Dreadcast, we're going to do Netflix again, right, Jim?
Yeah. We'll keep it on Netflix for now, and until we run out, and maybe move on to something else.
All right. So, We're going to pick 2 numbers for each movie. The first is going to be between 1 and 6, and then 1 and 30.
All right. Do you want the first number first, and then?
Yeah, first.
Second, okay. We'll do number 4.
4. All right. And then
20.
20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20. Event Horizon.
Oh.
Interesting. I have the DVD, so I might pop that in instead of watching it on here to see if there's any bonus features, because I don't recall. It's been a while. So, Event Horizon. Cool. That'll be fun to revisit. It's been a long time.
Very long.
All right. And our next one, same numbers between 1 and 6, and then 1 and 30.
Okay, 6.
All right.
And 28.
28. Going down. The Host.
Okay.
You ever saw that one?
No, but it doesn't sound like it's going to be any very promising.
I actually saw it. So
Did you really?
yeah, I did. A long.
I wanted. It sounded. That's why I laughed. It sounded familiar. I'm on Netflix every day, so I probably have already seen it, but or seen it on there, but I might not have watched it yet.
Yeah. So The Host. That's what's up for next. So it's yeah, you'll see it. I have it actually on bootleg DVD. But I will be watching that one on Netflix.
Okay.
I saw it once, when it came out. So 2006 it came out, so it's been 10 years. I do remember liking it, so we'll see where I stand 10 years later.
Yeah, our views change and our opinions change, so let's see.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, so for the next episode of Slice and Dice Dreadcast, we'll be covering Event Horizon and The Host, and those can both be found on Netflix if you want to watch those ahead and, chime in. So,
now, one thing I did want to ask you before we close out here,
please.
We are using Google Hangouts, like you said, right?
Right.
Is there any way anybody would be able to get on to do this with us sometimes?
Sure. We can add people on as long as you have a Gmail account. So for listeners out there, if you want to chime in, give your opinion, you could tweet us at Death by Podcast. Maybe we'll create a handle for this separately in due time. But for now, you could contact us through Death by Podcast, our Twitter, Facebook, email, contact at deathbypodcast.com. We'll figure out logistics of all the other stuff as we come down the line, right, Jim? But for now, you can contact us there, and if you want to, give any of your opinions on these films, we'll read them on air. Or if you want to come on live and give a quick little phone call via Google Hangouts, we can make that happen as well.
Yeah, it sounds good. I think me and you, with our experience here and our shared interests, I think this is going to go pretty smooth once we get all the kinks worked out and go on down the line.
Sounds great. All right, until next episode, signing out, Joe from Brooklyn.
Jim from Pittsburgh.
Peace.
Later.